104 BTC, and another little messy day in the markets there. A little bit of chop up and down again. Is Trump causing all sorts of havoc? Is he causing all sorts of havoc? So guys, we're looking at these alts today. We are getting very close to some kind of reversal zones, but there might be a little bit more downside. So I want to prep you guys for this in case we get a little dump lower, and you guys are going to be prepped and ready for some big moves. Okay, let's get right into this. And remember, as always, hit that like, hit the bell, and hit the subscribe. And I've brought a special guest today out of Chart Hackers. Here he is, the Panda. He's in the house, and he's got a big, dark, deep, husky voice as well. Let's hear it. Let them hear your voice, bro.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
There you go. There you go. Okay, the Panda's in the house. And James is here, obviously. What's the latest sentiment, sir?
Tired, man. I'm tired, boss. Dog tired.
Well, I went long the top of ETH yesterday because James was bullish, and I took the full licky today. Okay,
15 minutes after the show, Trump got on the tweeter there, and we were screwed.
I took full licky, guys. My account balance is 0. It's all gone. Okay, so but there'll be another day. We're gonna try again. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. Okay, banter bubbles looks a little bit messy. A slight recovery here at the moment. Virtual, the big one. We are just above a nice zone on virtual. ENA is a time, you know, to flip long here on this one. We are moving into quite a nice zone. WIF, I'm talking about that as well. And you guys know, I mean, I generally get excited when I see big red like this because it tells us we're getting closer to our major reversal zone. So always, you know, there's sometimes a little bit of pain before we get these nice big moves, but the exciting part is we're getting really close, and just be patient. It's a matter of time now before we tap some of these big zones. Okay, so don't panic just yet. Let's look at BTC, and let's see what they're doing today. Look at these candles. It is so offensive what is going on at the moment. Look at these wicks here. I mean, there was a China call today. Well, two things happened. One of them was they cut rates. I think it was the ECB cut rates. That was early in the morning. But we had some bullish news leading into the US Open. Then we had Trump on a phone call to China. We're going to talk about that now as well. But so much chop in the market, and I'm surprised these lickies aren't much higher at the moment. So we're going to cover that shortly. But in terms of BTC levels right now, well, number one, you can see they are trying to hold the 618, the 104,500, and we keep getting candle closes above this level. But how long can this hold on for? So lower down, we got to watch now. We got to pay attention. This 103K is starting to look very inviting now for the market makers. Maybe one final little push to the downside there. Look at that. We're getting close. There's some hidden divergence here on the 2-hour as well. So it's just a matter of time before we get some kind of reversal. Then a little bit lower, guys. Here's that simple wick fill from the other day. That is 102,100. And then we've got a big daddy zone down here. And this is one we really need to pay attention to. This is a big daily level. And if the wheels start falling off, we're going to rely on the daily level. Now, if Bitcoin drops quickly onto this daily level, you're going to probably find some of these alts drop onto massive macro fib zones and big areas. And that is going to be obviously a big trigger. Now, we're going to have to play it by ear, but this 101 to 100K is a very big area for us that we need to pay attention to. Okay, so those are the downside levels that we want to watch. Upside yesterday, the dream zone, it's still 108. Are they going to give it to us? You know, right now after bearish chop like this, you always start feeling a little bit more negative. But in terms of upside levels, 106,500, that's still on the table, 107,500, and then 108. That is the big one to the upside that we were liking yesterday on that short-term liquidity or liquidation heat map. And this is the 1 week. And anyone who's wondering about confusion in the market, well, take a look at BTC here. Look how juicy it is to the downside to 102K, and look how nice it is to the upside to 108K. It's almost like we're just waiting for these market makers. We know a move is coming, but are they going to end us first, or are they going to pump it first? So exciting times nonetheless, even though things are looking confusing. And James keeps nailing it. We're just waiting for another tweet. So what are we waiting for today?
He's going live here for a press conference to talk about the China call plus who knows what else. He already tweeted about the China call. That was bullish. Market's pumping on it. But if he starts talking about Russia, which is what tanked us yesterday right after the show, or Iran, as Panda likes to call it, yeah, we could be in for more trouble. So we got to watch this press conference coming right after the show. We'll see.
Okay, guys, press conference coming in hot. I cannot believe again there's only $200 million of lickies after today's drama. Obviously, the guys are getting trading much bigger margin. I mean, lower margins or bigger stops or things like that. And I think they're waiting very patiently here. But $200 million in lickies, I'm quite impressed with the current situation. And this is nice. I mean, who's ever had this where you pick a token that you want to trade, the whole market wakes up, and what does your token do? What happens to your coin? I swear sometimes I feel like this.
Especially lately.
You get the picture. If you're trading leverage and you pick a token and everyone else is flashing their P&Ls and you're thinking, fucking hell, why is mine not moving? Well, that is exactly what happens, guys. So don't feel bad if that happens to you. And here's Trump with his amazing plan. He says, I have a plan to cut spending. And how's he going to cut spending? Well, we're going to increase spending.
Naturally.
Okay, so guys, Elon Musk has basically turned against the Trump situation, and he's saying, call your senator, call your congressman, bankrupting America is not okay, kill the bill. Okay, so Elon Musk is very upset with the current
discourse
situation.
Between the two, though. I'm waiting.
Okay.
Something's going to happen there. Trump hasn't said anything about his good friend Elon that's trying to trash the big, beautiful bill, and something's coming there. I'm waiting for that one to go on too.
And probably something negative for Tesla, I would guess. But we're going to talk about that now. But I'm out of my Tesla short, but we're going to talk about that in a sec. So U.S. national debt projected to soar to $55 trillion. We spoke about this yesterday. Not a good look at the moment. And Trump talking about scrapping the U.S. debt limit entirely. Now, the U.S. debt limit, we know what happens with these guys. They move it whenever they want, but at least it's there, okay? It slows things down. It calms everybody down. Imagine what life is like if there's no debt limit. You just keep going.
Keep those printers on. It'll get big to the moon. I like the idea.
Yeah. Well, I mean, bullish for crypto, maybe.
Horrible
bullish
for the dollar.
But I think
great for
horrible for the world, and I think horrible for the dollar. And again, I'm not an economist. Maybe they know better than me, but it sounds like a fucking dumb idea. Excuse my language. Okay. Let's go. So now Trump's just had a phone call with Z, okay, and they're talking tariff things, and now he's going to go live. So here we go. Trump's expected to speak at 12 to 1 p.m. Okay, that must be EST.
That's the next 15 minutes to hour and 15 from now.
Okay, so look, if it happens during the show, we'll find out now because the market will be dumping or pumping. But if it happens afterwards, well, guys, luckily for you, I've got DJ Dave coming live later on doing his swing trading show. So we're gonna have you covered on some big moves there with DJ Dave later. So make sure you are tuned in about 4 or 5 hours time. We are gonna go live there and cover these things. Now, this was the other big news. European Central Bank cut their interest rate. That's 8 cuts. No cuts for the Fed just yet. I'm even starting to get annoyed with Jerome Powell. I mean, normally I'm quite objective about this thing, but fuck, can this guy wake up? Okay, can he please do something? Okay, we need some kind of pumpage. But the S&P just carries on. Here we go, nice and green today, pushing a little bit higher. Would be pleasant if our shitcoins could do the same. But at the moment, the S&P 6,100 is locked in. It's coming in hot here, and so far responding well. Now, what I love. Okay, there's something so beautiful about, like, obviously we love trading shitcoins. It's 24-hour market and everything. But I was saying to the guys earlier today, there's something so nice about being in a short and waiting for the market to open, and you see the pre-market and you know it's gapping down. There's nothing more rewarding than that. And I had that with Tesla today. It was such a beautiful thing. So I'm now fully out of the Tesla short. We obviously could have held on for longer, but it's dropped straight into a big bounce zone here. You can see why. 200-day MA, 100-day MA, 382 fib, like VWAP. This is a massive area here. And I thought, let me bank this profit. It was something like $900 or whatever it was on that little short that we took. So nice little move on Tesla. I'm fully out of that. We're going to wait until this thing resets. Now you can see that divergence is still in play. So there is potentially much more downside. We'll have to wait. But I'm going to look to grab that long at some point when we get a reset. And it's probably going to be 307 or 270, somewhere around there. We'll play it by ear. When the time is right, we will be longing Tesla again. Okay, so just be patient. It will come. Now, in terms of other stuff going on, this was Visa, we bullish on credit card debt in the US, so I've taken that long. We are sitting here waiting for some kind of move. Microsoft, don't even talk to me about this thing. I don't know what to say anymore. Can it just roll over and die? I mean, it's like, I don't know. I almost need to cut this thing at some point. So waiting patiently on that Microsoft short. In terms of Visa, you can see we gapped up today. We've now opened up at all-time high. So that is a good start for us on Visa. I'm not looking for much. It's a maximum of about a 10% move on this thing. Risk is 2.7%, or if you want to hold it longer, risk is 4.8% on Visa. And you can trade this with me on BTCC. And Mr. Fox is sitting in Microsoft as well. I mean, are we going to get blown up here on this Microsoft thing? So we'll have to wait and see. But some top performers today, nice and green. Again, loving this Tesla negative 3% at the moment. So that's a good one. And we're working on a couple more stocks for you. One of them is Intel. Now, you had Chaos on the show the other day talking to us about a possible Intel trade. And I've taken a closer look at this as well. We got Markets and Mayhem talking about this as well, saying it's looking quite bullish down here. And if you take a closer look, this thing has been consolidating for a hell of a long time. And on the daily, we are getting some bullish divergence here printing on Intel. So there might be a move coming. And I just want to highlight the previous divergences that we did get on Intel. There were some upside moves. There was an upside move over there when we got it. On this occasion, we did gap up as well. On this occasion, there was a little move to the upside. On this occasion, there was a move to the upside. So the bullish divergence prints are generally reliable on Intel, and here it is, okay, printing bullish divergence. So we might get some kind of pop here. I don't know how big it's going to be, but I think this is something we need to start looking for some kind of entry here. And this is also obviously tradable on BTCC. Now you can see on a lower time frame, and I don't always do this with stocks, but you can see on a lower time frame, this thing is possibly gearing up for a little breakout. And I think once we crack this 50-day moving average up there, we're going to get a bit of momentum. So something to look forward to. Anybody wants to trade some Intel with me on BTCC, we're going to look at some kind of entry here, and we're going to try and target. Let's see what we can get out of this thing. We probably get 5% to the 200, and we can get 10%, I'd say, to those highs. So could be another one coming for us. Could be a nice little popper here, Intel. Okay, briefly on gold, let's see a little rejection at the moment on gold. It is turning bearish on the 12-hour. If this carries on going, I would say that is good for the S&P, and in theory, that should be good for crypto as well. So that is looking nice if we can just get this thing to roll over, but there's no trades for me just yet on gold. I'm just waiting now. I want to see some kind of deep resets. I think the next play for me, probably some kind of long, unless we get some massive pump out of gold, then we can look at a short. But right now it's just chopping around, and it says, good, let's show Uncle Dill some love and smash the likes. That's straight out of James's keyboard there. He's discovered the keyboard. Okay, guys. And Chris says smash the funking like. Guys, if you're enjoying the content, hit the like, hit the bell. You know what to do. Okay, I've got Panda in the house especially for you. He's bringing you a short. He's bringing you a long on Brett. Something else?
Got Brett, possibly Mog, and then a short on BMT.
And this guy's deadly. I'm telling you, this guy's deadly. Okay, so he's coming in hot in a second. I also want to talk about the market with him and current sentiment here. Okay, the market has not reached the state of euphoria yet, according to 𝗀𝗆𝗆. This means that the top is far from in, and it's got a long way to go, according to this chart. Okay, but I mean, it doesn't feel like that when you're getting chopped up in your altcoins. But as far as my view is on BTC at the moment, I think the easiest thing for all of us to do is just to track the daily chart. Let's not get too dialed in all the time on 15-minute time frames. Let's just zoom out and say what is realistic here for us. And if we are honest with ourselves, what is realistic? Look at this, 102 to 100K. That's a big level here with 50-day moving average support. So we can see that is zone number one, and that will print effectively a head and shoulders, and that might tee us up then for a small bounce and then a bigger move to these lower levels. So that is still playing out for me. And we are looking at, what do we got? 99 to even 94K. This whole region here is a zone of interest there for us if this head and shoulders starts playing out. So let's not discount that. Let's enjoy the little moves that we get for now. But I think, if we look at this chart and we're honest with what we're looking at here, possibly more downside is on its way unless Trump can save us. And can he save us with some bullish news? I don't know. He keeps tripping over his own shoelaces here. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. Now, let's get into some of these altcoins. And this is the 4-hour heat map. and we can see something oversold here, FIS. I've never heard of that thing, but it might be worth a look, Panda, if you want to take a look at this FIS. And then I have no juicy shorts yet based on what I'm looking at here. So, you know, we look for these outliers, and then we can start playing games on some of them. But for now, we're just chilling at the moment. Then in terms of dominance, well, again, not a good sign here for us. Okay, dominance is bullish above this 50-day moving average, and that means we are bearish on altcoins. So as long as dominance keeps pushing up, we're going to feel pressure on our alts, and then we're looking for a bounce on the altcoin market at 64.7 or alternatively at 65.4. These are the big zones there to the upside, and that is where you probably get a nice big bounce on the altcoins. Now, we might be getting a small bounce again, because every time Trump posts something bullish, we get a small move out of the market, we get a little bit of excited, and then a little bit of excitement, and then they come back and they smash us again. But if we're using this dominance chart as a guide, and we get a nice push here on dominance, we know that we're going to see things like AVAX and Injective and all these other main tokens that we always look at starting to hit big levels, and that is going to be the sign for us that we might get some nice big move out of these alts eventually. And Cosmo says alts are really pissing me off. You're telling me, bro. I mean, I'm trying to short Tesla, Microsoft. What did I catch the other day? I mean, I'm even trading gold. I mean, you know what I mean? So that is why we want to diversify you guys as much as possible. And that's why we've also got Jay doing a lot of gold trading and stuff like that in Chart Hackers for you guys. He's trading the NASDAQ. And so sometimes it's good to take your attention away from these shit coins that can let us down so much. Okay, and Raphael says, I'm sweating beard oil from this virtual long. We're going to look at it now. Okay, I've got virtual for you. Over 340,000 ETH worth 900 million are now queued for ETH staking. Okay, so this is why, you know, ETH is holding these levels so nicely. Obviously didn't hold enough because they gave me the full lickies yesterday, and appreciate James's bullishness there for sending me to zero. Appreciate that. I was so excited. I thought this time James is bullish. I was like, this time we on. This time we so on. But in terms of ETH, and again, a lesson for too much leverage. Look what it's done. It's done absolutely nothing. It's still actually holding a reasonable area. And if I had probably $20 extra7 in there, I wouldn't have been lickies. So here we are again, and it's bouncing. I think my lickies was 2,573 or something was my lickies. Okay, so they've come and ended me. Now, what do we do with ETH? I'm still of the same view. If we blow this 200-day MA, people are going to climb in this time. Okay, so I really do think ETH is going to be quite aggressive if we pop that level. But right now, you can see the power of the 200-day moving average. It's blocking us every single time. It's major resistance. If we pop that, we're going to use this as support later on, and we can get some really nice big longs out of ETH. But right now, you saw yesterday, lesson. Let's be careful here until we start blowing these levels, unless we want to do some mentally disturbed things. Okay, so right now for me on ETH, let's just mark out some interim levels. The big one on a dump, any major market sell-off, 2,450. That is your big one. That is where you're paying attention. That is where you're locking in. Okay, if the market starts falling over, that is where you're looking. 2,450, and then watch this wick fill to the downside as an emergency level. You can see that guy, 2,320. Okay, those are your big ones in terms of interim short-term levels. Very simple TA here, guys. Very basic stuff. All you got to do is watch this horizontal. You'll have some fibbage here as well, 2,550. So anybody sitting in an ETH long at the moment, 2,550, that is your degen support level. 2,450 is your reasonable support level, and then your emergency level, 2,320. Now, that would be quite a substantial move. Let's just see the size of that. And if ETH drops all the way down there, that's 10%, and that probably means 15, 20% on some of these other altcoins like BONK and some of the beans, and those are going to be some interesting times if we do get that. But let's focus on Solana for now, and it doesn't look amazing to me in terms of the price and the chart. You can see we are starting to lean a little bit heavy now, and they're starting to put pressure on this zone, this 382 fib zone, and the more they tap this area, the weaker it's going to get for me. So they're going to keep putting pressure here, and then I do think we are going to get Sol eventually falling over. So 141 is still looking nice on the menu for me. I don't want to say, it's not going to happen. So it's a very probable zone here on the daily. You can see one more dip on this daily oscillator could give us that move there on Sol. And look, it's not going to be a pretty day. I just want to make that statement. It's not going to be nice, okay? And Chaos actually messaged earlier, and he said he likes 145 on Sol. So there is an argument there for 145. And that's your 100-day MA. But in terms of what I'm looking for, a macro 0.5 fib, the VWAP from the extreme lows, some horizontals, and a wick fill 141 is quite nice for me on Sol. So let's see how that plays out if we do get a little bit more weakness. If you're sitting in a Sol scalp long at the moment, guys, keep it simple. We know these moves have been super choppy, up, down, up, down, up, down. And right now, 148 is the low that you can watch. Okay, liquidation map on Sol looks juicy. Tell us, is it to the upside or is it to the downside? Where was that comment from there, James? From Alex Oteek. Alex Oteek, tell us, is it upside or downside? What are you looking at there? I'm keen to see. And then while we're talking about this, let's look at the poll that I'm running. Bullish bounced today, 35%. Okay, that could be a Trump news related thing. Bullish, but a little lower first, 38%. And bearish, much lower first, 27%. So I tell you what, I think the bears, 27% are way too bearish. And I'm sitting in the camp at 38% here, saying a little lower first. James, where are you? What camp are you in? ABC.
My camp is follow tweets. That's it. Forget TA. Just watch Trump and his tweets. We'll know soon. He's going to be live here within the next hour. Then I'll make a decision.
So cynical. Okay, Panda, let's see.
Happens
Panda.
every time.
A, B, or C?
I would say 102. I would say C, man. I'm feeling a little bit bearish.
So much lower first. 102 is not much lower. Let's go with bullish.
Oh, 98. 98 is where I would take my highest conviction longs, to be honest with you. I'll take longs with my eyes closed. But it will not be pretty. It will not be pretty good there.
It's not going to be nice. It's not going to be nice. There's going to be lickies on the table. There's going to be blood on the dance floor. Okay. Okay. Let's go through some alts. I'm excited to get Panda's views on a couple of things. We're going to bring him up here in a sec. I'm excited to see what he's looking at. I think we're going to get some. I think we're going to get some action out of the Panda. Okay. So ETH, you've done. Sol, guys, you know the situation. Let's start with a couple of big buy zones here if we do get some more downside. So obviously an old favorite of mine is PEPE, and I never want to not watch this thing, and this is always going to be one of the first things that I try and buy if we have had a sell-off. Now it depends how big the sell-off is going to be. If we get a, let's say, and I'm totally speculating here, but let's say there's BTC weakness and they push us into 100k, for example, that smells like 108 on PEPE. That's a 50-day MA, VWAP from the lows, 0.5 macro fib pool, horizontal. That first zone, 108, makes sense to me. If they're going to put us under more pressure, the alts are going to absolutely shit themselves. The market is not going to be pleasant. It's going to be dirty out there, and we're going to be very uncomfortable. And what we're going to be looking at is a 17% drop at least on PEPE, and that is going to be down to 95. Okay, so make sure you are ready. I want you guys covered for these situations, because the best thing you can do is be prepped. So pick your favorite altcoins. I'm not saying choose 50 alts. Pick your favorites, whatever your narratives are. Pay attention to where the big macro levels are, and when the day comes, or if the day comes this week, when everything is falling over, you've done your homework, your alarms are on, your limit orders are set, or you are ready to act and you're ready to push buttons from a place of knowing what to expect. Okay, so just get yourselves ready. Always do the prep work before. Don't on the day when the market turns red start scrambling, trying to put a chart together, because you're going to fumble it. I'm telling you. And these moves often happen quite quickly. So do the homework first. Get your levels prepped, so when it happens, you are ready to go. Okay, so PEPE, 108 and 95. Those are the big levels that I would pay attention to on any further market weakness. Now, let's talk AAVE, and this thing's been super bullish. And what I've done for AAVE is I've actually said, look, if there is weakness on BTC, this thing is so bullish at the moment. And why? I mean, why are we bullish about it? Well, number one, they generated $39 million in protocol fees last month. We know it's a working business. It's a very fundamentally sound project from what I understand, and that is what the market is loving. So I'm not expecting a massive sell-off in AAVE, and if there is a massive sell-off, I'm expecting it to be bought up relatively quickly. But for me, I wouldn't want to see less than, say, more than about 8% on AAVE. So I've gone into the 4-hour for you guys, and I want you to be ready, because this can be a nice one to trade on weakness. So two big zones for me, 252 and 239. Both of them are high conviction zones. Both of them should give you some kind of bounce. Your best bounce is going to be when we get that 4-hour reversal. You really want to see this 4-hour come back down here, print some divergence, or just give us some kind of strong reversal. Then we're going to be good. And you're probably going to find it's going to be on one of these levels. I'm leaning towards 239 for now. And remember, when you get these divergences, you get really nice pushes to the upside. Look at this last time, bang. Okay, nice move out of that AAVE. So waiting patiently. Remember, all these charts, they go straight into Chart Hackers for you guys directly after the show. You can find it all there and take advantage of them in there, including Panda's charts will be there for you guys. Okay, so AAVE, that is what I'm looking at here. Just patience, patience, patience. Let's see how this plays out. And then in terms of ETH, goodbye, lickies. That S there is a lickies, okay? They fully lickied me on that candle there. Okay, so I'm out of this CoinEx trade. I might have to go into their reward center here now and start getting my cash back, okay? So they got the CoinEx rewards here, and you can view the details you can collect just by doing tasks in this CoinEx. So I'm going to have to go in there and then start getting some money back there. And little bit says nibbling on Brett. Now, that's not a bad thing because because Panda said... eyes on Brett. And when Panda says eyes on Brett, I think that means you have to do something. What are the instructions again there when you say eyes on? Just tell me what it means again.
You just ape in, man. You just market buy and you just ape in, and then you post your P&L, and all goes well. No, eyes on means y'all need to put it on your radar. So you pull out the 15-minute and to kind of get an idea of the breakout situation that will be happening. So eyes is usually something is about to pop on the lower time frame.
Okay, so it's not like take photos of the P&L, not profits. It's just pay attention.
No, that's after. That's after.
Okay.
It's usually after.
Okay, it's a classic move. Okay, now we're going to get Panda in now. I just wanted to, because you've got Hype in front of you now, I wanted to just show you guys quickly. So Hype is a little scalpy that I jumped into now earlier today. We actually waited quite a few hours to get this entry on Hype. It's now dropped into the zone. But again, this is going to be very dependent on the current market sentiment and what Donald has to say in the next while, I would assume. So I'm looking for a reversal here on Hype. I just want to show you the 1 hour. I picked up this morning, we were getting a bullish divergence and a blue dot reversal there. So that was looking interesting. And that told us that we were looking maybe for one more dip into a zone here on Hype. And now we want to see, the follow through here on this zone. So what I've got for you is two possible Hype scenarios. And this is more of a degen play. Okay, this is not a swing play. This is now looking for a little risk reward trade of like 4. We're looking for small percent and a nice little gain. You're looking for like 6 or 7% bounce on this thing. And these are the two options that I can see playing out at the moment. And you can see we're in this first zone. It's already reacting in this region at the moment, bouncing around. And this region is the VWAP 0.5 trend and horizontal zone. And the risk here is 1.2%. Okay, so it's a 1.2% risk, trying to get a 5 to 7% bounce out of Hype. That support that you can use, 34.4 down to 34.2. So that is your degen support level on Hype. If there is a little bit more weakness in the market, you're probably going to find Hype drops another 3 or 4%. And then you're looking at an entry at 33.5 down to about 33.2. And now this is a degen basis. Both of these risk plays are like 1 to 1.5% risk. So you got to be, you got to be a little bit cautious with how you're playing it. But in terms of risk principles, it's not a massive size risk for something that has effectively shown a lot of strength over the last couple of weeks. Now, again, at some point, the strength wanes and it starts rolling over. But you can see the way this chart has played out over the last while, it might be getting a little bit tired, but it doesn't mean we can't get little bounces out of it on the way down if it starts reversing. Okay, so that is the Hype play, and I'm running this one on Blowfin at the moment. Okay, so I picked up 2 orders there, and there it is. So it's just, I'm pretty much flat. My average entry, 34.6. At the moment, looking for some kind of action here on Hype. Okay, and the one you see on your screen is TON. I've got my alarm on, and this TON is a possible breakout trade. I've got my alarm on, and you might hear it during the show. And if it's there, we can try and send ourselves to 0 and catch a little breakout trade there on TON. Okay, Panda, let's go, bro. Talk to me.
Right, let's go. All right.
What's cooking in the chef's kitchen here? Ooh, this looks fun already.
I'll start with the short idea first, and then we'll take it to the long, because I just want to Just want to be clear to echo what Dylan is saying in terms of the bounces that we get or the moves that we get. Get your money and get out with short moves, because I'm not convinced that this is the bottom of the local move. And the setup that I'm about to show you is the perfect example onto why I say take your money and run. So BMT is something that's been on my radar for some time. It's actually one of our strongest plays sometimes that we drop in chart hackers. We just came off a long here. That was a nice almost 40% mover here, and we immediately went into a short. So this was dropped yesterday, I believe, and I am currently, well, I got stopped out earlier. I was going to update people, but we caught the short on BMT. A lot of chart hackers got the short. Actually, it was a very nice 14% mover, and it's pushing again. I don't know if there's news behind this. I didn't actually check that much, but market was falling over and BMT was just holding. It dumped and then it kind of deviated from this 50 MA and just took this impulsive move onwards. I think there's a possible second short in here. So we took this 13-14% move. We took TP1 and TP2, and then we got stopped basically in profit, and now I'm trying to enter this again. Technically, with this 4-hour close, I just want a 4-hour close above this to kind of invalidate this trade. Otherwise, this can just be scam wick. Otherwise, I would wait a little bit on this BMT to push, because on the 4-hour and the 8-hour, we got point of control here. And if I zoom out on the daily, you'll see that this major downtrend here, and it's coming in for the third touch, and it looks like it's about to run out of steam, because we're getting a reversal prints on the daily, which is a very big deal on the oscillators, right?
Panda.
Yes, sir.
When entry.
Let me put them here. This is more of 1 second. I can put the price.
Raphael says, when entry, bro.
When entry. This I'm waiting on this right now. Technically, this is active. Entry would be now. But it's at the very high end of my stop loss, and it looks like it's starting to consolidate here on the 4-hour. So
I wouldn't want to risk this. You've highlighted there.
I wouldn't want to risk this, to be honest with you. But if you guys want to take a super degen move, then I would enter right now. If anything, I can reopen the short right now, and my stop loss would be right above this POC. So let me just put these here. And I know I am a degen breakout trader, but I also have some risk management and common sense. I wouldn't jump into this.
Hey, I like the things. Look, I like the 13 because that gives me one more pump there. It prints that nice divergence.
That's what I'm trying to say. So we get your typical push into downwards trend. And then we collect some of these orders. You got POC in the way. You can see from previously, and this is again daily chart. You got wicks, previous support into resistance. This is a daily level resistance. So if anything, we will get some sort of at least 10% rejection. You know what I mean? So that's something to kind of keep in mind, whether you want to jump in now and you kind of have to babysit this trade. It is technically valid to enter right now, but you'll be babysitting the hell out of it until it kind of just grinds up here. Because look at the 1 hour. This thing moves, boss. This thing moves. This is a 9% 1 hour candle, followed by another 6% 1 hour candle. This is pre-US Open, when the market was dumping and bleeding. This was driving. So this thing is impulsive, guys.
Okay. Option 1. If you are in a trade right now, your exit plan is close above. What is the exit plan for this current
close
trade?
Above? I would say above the POC. So it would be a 2 hour close above 12.8. Can you see the numbers here clearly?
Okay, yeah, nice and clear. So a 2 hour close above 12.8, or alternatively, I like that second zone because it tells me we're getting one more squeeze there and one more pump into that area, and that is 13 up to about 14, and then your exit plan is 142.
Yeah, this would be a ladder in, because this is a wide stop loss, because we're trying to take into consideration the POC, as well as this is a major level here as well, a previous month mid-level for BMT. So I expect some sort of fuckery wicks to kind of just wick the previous shorts out. So this is somewhat of an 8% stop loss. This is why we'll do the 3-way laddering in, where we would put in 3 orders. So we'll put in an order here at the entry, right here, and then a couple of percentages up. That will be here. And then I'll put the majority of my order here. And then I would wait for the 4-hour close, close above 14.2.
Okay, so guys, there you go. There's a short setup from Panda for you guys. That chart is going to be in Chart Hackers for you. You're going to have a clear exit plan. You're going to have your clear laddering in strategy for that option 2 or option 1. You've got those levels. So we'll put that in Chart Hackers there for you guys. We're going to bring Panda. He's going to bring us Brett Long in a couple of seconds as well. I think he's got 1 or 2 cooking. I want to run through. I see there's guys in the chats here talking about Trump, moaning about Elon here, James.
Yeah. Well, I'm scanning Twitter right now, and Elon just retweeted a post of Trump's from 2012 that says deficits are not allowed. If you can't balance the budget, you're out of the government. They're big fighting, and Trump is saying that he doesn't think they can have a great relationship anymore.
Short Tesla.
I'm quickly looking for Elon. Yeah, I'm just trying to see what he's saying here, so we can show.
I posted something in the research group with that retweet of his.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so guys, yeah, it's funny. I mean, best buddies, now they're fighting publicly and it's a mess. Okay, so yeah, there's obviously drama going on. I'm assuming based on this current situation, did I close my Tesla short too early?
That seems to be a theme.
We'll have to wait and see. You know, Dave always says to me, I must wait 1 extra day on these shorts. Maybe, I mean, I got excited. We're on a big bounce zone. I didn't know Trump was going to come out and tear Elon a new arsehole there. But anyway, okay, we'll have to see how that plays out. Okay, let's go. Let's get in. Let's talk some levels here on some of these other things. Okay, so US SEC delays decision on Canary Spot SUI network ETF. Now, we know we've had a little bit of FUD around SUI lately. Not super bullish at the moment, but what I've got for you on SUI is a very similar look to a lot of altcoins that you're going to see today. So we're not going to float around too long on these alts, but in terms of SUI, it's a typical look. If we are in this current zone, this is one of these temporary bounce zones now. If we are going to have more weakness, the obvious zone next for me for SUI is now 3 to 2.9. That is zone number 2. So our first zone, we got a nice bounce out of it, rejected off the 50-day May. If we're going to lose this level, we need to look at the next zone. And the next zone is 3 to 2.9 for me on SUI. And that is roughly a 5% dip. Now you're going to see this pattern, and that is now making an assumption that like AVAX and SUI and these things drop 5 or 6%. That probably means Bitcoin drops 2 or 3% into say 100K. And if it's going to get worse than that, well, then we got to go deeper. But right now, if we're tracking these alts for 5 or 6% lower down, these levels are starting to make sense. So 3 to 2.9 makes sense for me on SUI. That is zone number 1. Then in terms of AVAX, again, was I too trigger happy? Did I close my AVAX short too early? Because here it goes again. Now it's dipping into our big zone. So we got that upside rejection over the last couple of days. And in terms of the next big area for me on AVAX, we're looking at 19.3, making a lot of sense to me. How deep is that? That is about a 4% move, and down to the lows is about a 7% move. So there's 2 options here for you guys on AVAX. Option 1 is about a 2% risk if we drop into the zone. So you're going to look for a long between 19.5 and 19. That's going to give you about 2% risk. So do the calculation there. Ideally, you want to look for a candle close under the lows. Okay, so you're going to see these lows here. You're going to wait for that candle to close below before you make drastic decisions. And then alternatively, if you're looking for more of a lower, one where you might sleep better, okay, lower margin, smaller position, laddering in slowly, that total risk is about 5% on AVAX. And that entry is from 19.5 down to 18.5. And what you can do is ladder in a couple of phases here on this one. So you can line up 2 or 3 or even 4 entries, let it drop into the zone. Then we're looking for some kind of slingshot reversal there on AVAX. Okay, so you've got 2 trade options here. Both of them, unfortunately, tell us possibly more downside here on the market. Okay, so you've seen SUI, you can see AVAX looking very heavy there to the downside. What's the next one? Athena, ENA. And remember, there was an unlock on Athena. We've been talking about it. In fact, myself, DJ and Dave, Jay, we've all been trading this thing, and we're all looking at it from similar angles at the moment. And you can see this whale's now put $5 million into Binance, and he's obviously looking to sell, because if you move $5 million of something onto Binance, you might be looking to sell a little bit of it. Okay, and here is ENA. Now I'm out of the ENA short as well. Did I close that one too early? Are they going to send us to hell? So I've got two big zones for you guys, and the first one is this 0.3 zone, and I've written here DGen short-term bounce zone. So that is approximately caters for about a 6% dip. You've got enough cover there. So that ties in with AVAX about 6%. It ties in with, what did I just cover? 𝗬𝗰 and SOL as well, and some of these others. So that covers you for a junior size dip. And then in terms of a massive zone, major weekly swing trade zone. This is a big weekly level here at the bottom. Let's not forget about this 0.26 zone here on ENA. So if you get a hard meltdown in the market, be ready, because you'll get some kind of snapback bounce on this thing, and you're going to look for that stop hunt just below. So look out for a move down to 245, somewhere around there, and then a hard bounce on ENA. So ENA zones, I repeat, 0.3 down to 0.29, and then your next big zone is 0.26 down to 0.25. Look for some kind of bounce there. And AI16Z going to crash or going to crash? Are we going to get rinsed or are we going to get pumped? Can you confirm, Danielle? Is it going up or is it going down? Okay, please let us know urgently. Panda, can you confirm? Brett, is it going up or is it going down? Let's see
Brett?
what you got here, bro. What trade do you have for us?
I got Brett and possibly Mog.
Okay, Brett and Mog. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's see it. Okay, your screen is up, locked and loaded.
Yep, so that's your Brett 4 hour. Wait, is my screen reflecting?
BMT. All I can see is BMT here in front of me.
That's strange. 1 second. There we go.
Okay,
perfect.
There we go. Cool, cool, cool.
All right, Brett, 4 hour. I see it trickling down to an area of interest here. I'm waiting for it to sweep last week's lows. Usually, there's pent-up liquidity that gets set up by the longs to get stopped out. Just want to show that it's kind of creating this rising pattern now, and it's coming in for what looks like to be the second touch of it. So we expect some sort of a bounce. And then also I see that we have a very strong bullish order block on the 4 hour, which is always good, even if it's for a dead cat bounce kind of thing. So I have my level set here at 0.0463 as an entry, and then stop loss would be a 2 hour close under 0.043. Again, kind of consolidating, still forming clusters under the 50 MA. And I'm not looking for anything major here. If anything, I'm looking for something as simple as just a move to the 50, which would be somewhere around the 25% move mark kind of thing. But we played by ear. So yeah, as you can see, this was a trap candle. We talk about this a lot during our stages, where there's a bunch of longs here and a bunch of shorts here that are stuck, and now the longs are getting rinsed out. So I'm just waiting for it to trickle down just a little bit. I dropped the scalp option of that earlier in Chart Hackers, which was something like this, which if anything, it should be getting stopped as we speak. A 1 hour close under here also would be for the people who cannot control their FOMO and they just want to jump in.
So what is the percentage move from here down into your entry zone? I'm just interested.
It's about 3-4%. It's getting there. Okay. It's getting there.
So it's a nice dip, but it's not an end of the world dip. Remember, guys, there's two types of dips they're going to give us here in the market. There's literally two kinds. You get the nice gentle one where they just grab a little liquidity, and then you get these nice horrible ones where they come and they absolutely kill you. And that is where your next major level has to come into play. So remember, we're kind of looking at like decent dip zones here, 5%, 6%, like a gentleman's dip. Okay, we're not looking at where they're going to come and absolutely destroy us, because then we got to go a little bit. We got to go a little bit lower. And James is saying Trump dump underway. He loves this shit. Okay, cool. So Brett, we've got the entry. Okay, cool. So Brett, you be
I actually
good.
feel bad. He was talking about it earlier in our group. I feel bad for him because he's always out getting news and he's constantly getting updates and stuff. I can only imagine how stressed he is the entire time with the market, man. Just trying to find these tweets.
Trying to find bearish stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Brett, that is your first bounce zone. Is there a backup zone lower down in case the market shits the bed? What is
Do
the
you
next thing?
want me to talk about it? Because it's
Just
25%
one
down.
emergency zone. Yeah, highlight it because the guys must know.
Your stink bid would be at least these wicks
Yeah.
right here, which is 19%. That's actually not that bad. So if anything, I would be targeting these levels right here, these wicks, and then probably
Okay,
down.
and how
to
big is
somewhere
that
here.
dump?
That's about a 16, 17%, 20%.
Okay, so guys, you're getting the picture here. Medium-sized dump, 5-6% on some of these altcoins, 20% to the next big zone. Just be ready, okay? And yeah, so that looks nice for Brett. That is your backup plan in case that falls over. We'll be longing the shit out of that down there tomorrow if they start capitulating us.
Yeah.
We're going to get stuck in there. Okay, and only Jeff can save us now, according to Traveling Man. Let's see if we got him here. Where is he? He's coming. He's coming. He's coming.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get some more. Let's get some more charts out here. You got some MOG. Okay. Yeah. Where are we going on this thing?
Yeah, MOG again dropped these two different setups, and I had my hopes up because it was holding the 50 MA, and now it looks like it's losing it. But on the plus side, it did sweep last week's lows, right? So technically, in my book, this would be an entry to nibble on. And then if we zoom out, also you got your rising trend. You get the picture, you know. With you know. But yeah, the only thing I don't like about this, and I was hesitant about dropping this to enter now, I personally nibbled on this very like 5x and 30% of my margin that I want to take. The only reason why I'm not too happy about this is because I'm not getting that recovery bounce that you would get usually when a token hits a liquidity zone, right? Like a proper liquidity zone. It just doesn't seem like it had any appetite whatsoever. However, it is closer to the 50 MA. This is the second setup that I had in mind if we were gonna, right before US, if we were gonna turn bullish, you know, instead of taking that risk when you're under the 50, let me just close this.
But that oscillator looks good.
That's what I'm saying, but
trying
this
to
is
revert.
Yeah, this is why I nibbled on it, and I saw this as an opportunity, but then, you know, the cash flow completely went out of the window. But we are getting a blue dot, which is kind of strong. And also on the 2 hour, I was getting a dot, right? And then now we're kind of angling down. But I won't be surprised whatsoever if Trump comes out with some bullish news, and then this kind of becomes like a hidden bullish divergence, just like this. And then we kind of just grind up. Because if we are bullish, this would have been my next setup for you guys, which is we claim the 50 MA and then we long, which is much safer. A lot of people say, like, why would I want to enter higher? You're entering higher, but at more support levels, right? Because here we're taking what I call them an educated bet, where we didn't claim, we actually lost the 50 MA, but I was entering based on, we were retesting it, right? We're betting that it's gonna bounce off this trend, and we're betting that it will claim the 50 and then it will take off. So if you don't want to take on too much risk, you just let this trade be. You don't do anything. You just let them do their thing with the price action, come back, come down, lose trend, whatever it may be, come back, claim that 50, and then we enter on the retest of claiming the 50, and then we go.
Okay, guys, you get the picture, you get the drift. Basically, what's happening here is this next play is going to get controlled by when Trump is finished talking, and then we're going to know, are we going to bounce or not? Lower time frame, there's bullish divergences, there's things like that, so there might be a little bounce on the markets, but you know what we're looking at here, 6%. 15%, and you're seeing this picture all over the place. Okay, so these are the big ones here for you guys. Let's talk virtual. Same story. We're not quite in the zone, but what I can see here is we are so close to a reversal on that 8 hour. Look how rinsed this 8 hour oscillator is. It's like absolutely bottoming out here. So for me, that tells me it's one of these two zones. We are going to get a reversal of some kind on virtual. Might not be the bottom, but in terms of a snapback bounce where we're going to get a 5 or 12% out of this thing, it's going to be one of these zones in my view at the moment looking at this oscillator. So the big ones for me on virtual, 1.66. You can see 200-day, 50-day MA about to print the golden cross. What have I said to you guys before? When you get the golden cross, you typically get a dump into it. A golden cross happens after a sustained upside move, then you get a dump into it, and then the trend could potentially continue. So I don't want to write virtual off. In terms of bounce zone, 1.66 looks pretty good to me. And then the next one is 1.56. So looking for action in this zone. I've written here mixed bounce zones because they're not tying in beautifully, but we know something like virtual can be very bouncy when it wants to be. So we've got about a 10% leeway in those two areas that we can play with. And then just tapping into the 4 hour, I just want to see what picture they're giving us here at the moment in terms of our oscillator. Let's just let this thing load here for us. But you can see there is some kind of divergence print here at the moment at the bottom. There we go. Okay, so we are getting signs that it wants to reverse. I would say 166, 156, watch those two areas on virtual. Could give you some kind of bounce there. Then talking bonk, there's two options here for me at the moment. It depends how you want to play it, but you guys will remember we waited so long for bonk and to reverse, and it never came back into that zone. It pumped up first, but here we are. Okay, we finally in these areas. Is this going to be badly affected by the pump.fun token? We'll have to wait and see how these memes get handled. But in terms of interesting areas for me on bonk, this is the degen zone, 153 down to 148. This is degen zone. And then we've got a much bigger area lower down now, 138. That is going to be your wick fill to the downside as well, and including a nice pivot level over there. Okay, so you can see the zone. I'm just highlighting that area there for you guys. So the two big areas, 153 to 148. And then if you get a capitulation move, you've got anything down to 141 down to 135, starting to make sense to me as a possible reversal zone there on bonk. Okay, and I see the guys saying BMT might start rolling over as well. So yeah, I might be jumping into that with Panda in a sec. And then let's talk WIF as well. Again, I don't have tie-in with fibs for WIF, for example, and it's quite frustrating for me because I rely a lot on my fibs to give me confluence, but right now there's no fibbage at the moment. But in terms of bounce zone here for WIF, and I hope Paul is watching at the moment, 0.81. That is a reasonable area there for me on WIF, and that is a dump of 6-7%. Okay, so you're seeing the picture. 6-7% move looks like a nice play, and then lower down, just like Panda showed you guys on Brett, you get some rough moves here. And the next one is 65 on WIF. So you just want to make sure you're ready. That's a 20-odd% drop on WIF. 65 is going to be your next big zone. Okay, and let's see. Beta Studios
on WIF.
Are you in it? Are you still running it?
Yeah, man.
We
caught the top. And I was going to say, please don't kill my short. Please don't long it. Please don't give long levels. Well, I want to send it to 73, man.
Yeah, well, you might get even more on this thing. I mean, it looks like it's 6% is coming here, maybe 20% on WIF. Guys, let's talk FARTCOIN quickly for you as well. So, I mean, we've covered this thing. And what I'm picking up here is that obviously these whales have lost a little bit of attention on FARTCOIN, and they're less active, James. I don't know if you've noticed, but the price action's been pretty shit on FARTCOIN lately, and maybe it's running out of steam. I mean, just like Popcat was my old favorite, is FARTCOIN running out of steam now? Are they moving elsewhere? So just something to note here. You can see these big levels here for us. I hope Crypto Lady is watching, because now she might get her 70, what was she saying, 75? She might get her 75 zone, and it looks like that is the next feasible play. So what you can see happening, and we looked at this earlier in the week as well, when you get these downtrends, it's just something like this, okay? And it happens and then eventually you get that nice move off the big zone. So right now we're tracking a downtrend on FARTCOIN. You're probably going to see, if it drops lower, you probably get a bounce off that 100, and then you're going to drop into this zone. Eventually you're going to come and take out an area like that. So 75, 76 is making sense to me at some point. In terms of the 12-hour, this thing's about to print bullish divergence on the 12-hour. You can see the oscillator is printing a higher low here, and the price action is going down. So that is a slightly more bullish take there on FARTCOIN. Then let's look at our 8 hour, and the 8 hour also looking to print reversals here for now. Let's see another one in play. That's most likely going to be a bullish divergence print on the 8 as well. Let's look at the 4. And the 4 is, a little bit undecided here at the moment. Okay, but in terms of Fartcoin, the big zone, 75.76. I see that as the big one for us there. And PMG George is looking at 0.74. Good enough for me, bro. If it drops down there, have a limit order waiting. I think you're going to get a nice bounce at that level there. And Generic says he charted nicely, or maybe he shafted nicely. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going on. James, is Trump still talking?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure if he's
Go
still
get
alive.
stressed for us.
Yeah.
Okay, go find out. It's urgent. Okay. Okay, guys, let's wrap it up. Panda, thank you. That was cool. So you guys got the BMT short. You got the Brett views. You got the possible MOG situation. Guys, all I can say is things are hectic at the moment. Things are very choppy. Things are dangerous. Take it easy. Don't rush. When we get the right move in the right zones, the momentum comes back, and then we start really pushing. Right now, small positions. Take it easy. Again, no, there's no rush here in the market. The market's back tomorrow. Don't panic. Okay, Panda, we'll see you in Hackers. Thank you, sir.
Yep, thank you.
James, thank you, sir. I want Bullish James back. He's way more exciting. Okay? Can you bring him back tomorrow?
Let's see. See what the boss gives us.
Okay, guys. Yeah, be safe. Choppy conditions. Just be safe. Really, just manage your capital there. Manage your risk. Don't ape into everything. You know the big zones now. That is what we're expecting. A little bit more downside. I've been saying this whole week, things were looking bearish. We finally now getting closer and closer to the place where we can start looking a bit more seriously at some big moves there. So just be patient. Hang in there, guys. Back later with DJ and Dave. And then obviously I'm back tomorrow. Okay, catch you later.